Hi folks, this is the web page of Conservative Apologetics. It's going to be an opportunity for me, just your common humble person, John Q. Public, to voice their concerns about the body politic. What is going on in this country? What are our politicians doing for us and to us? Are we taking the time to think through the things that they're imposing upon us? Are we taking the time to really contemplate, what does this mean? What does this mean when they want to pass a cap and trade bill? What does this hate crimes legislation really mean? What does this, budget that quadrupled the debt really mean when they voted for it? What does it mean when Obama nominates someone to the Supreme Court who says that a wise Latina woman will always arrive at a better decision than a white guy would? Can you imagine what would happen if that were turned around the other way? What would happen if that were turned around the other way and she said, and a white guy said, I can always arrive at a better decision than a Latino woman could? Oh my Lord, could you imagine? So, I think it's time for conservatives to find their voice. It's time for conservatives to stand up and say, wait a minute, there is an alternative to this. We don't have to walk down this path of just quietly being led into socialism and who knows from there. About a month ago, Pravda, the old official news agency for the Soviet Union, which is still around, of course, today in Russia, Pravda printed an editorial saying, America, wake up. Obama is leading you down the path of socialism and worse, and you're just going along, kind of like the old frog in the boiling water. We don't really realize what's happening. We don't really, aren't really aware of what's happening. And so we just kind of go along until the water gets up so hot that finally it boils us. They said, did you not learn from us that this doesn't work? Why are you letting Obama take you down this path? But yet here we are, as the American people, going down a path of the government taking over more and more and more of our lives. Why is this? Well, I think part of the reason it is because Americans nowadays just want. We've become a wanting society. And the Democrats figured that out in the 60s. You can buy people's votes with money. You can buy people's votes. They learned it through the 70s. They learned it through the 80s. And you know what? Now they're buying off the middle class. We used to have a strong middle class in this country. But now they're learning they can even buy off the middle class. And so what's happening is we're becoming more and more dependent upon government. And of course, as we become more and more dependent upon government, we want to vote those in who are going to give us the money. America, it's time we stand up and reclaim the entrepreneurial spirit that made this country great. It's time that we stand back up and say, you know what? No longer are we going to become, enslaved to government money and handouts? We want to stand up. We want to create our lives. We want to create a strong, solid, vibrant middle class. We don't want the government over-regulating everything in our lives. We don't want the government sticking their hands in every facet of our lives under the guise of the Interstate Commerce Clause of the Constitution. The government needs to do what the government needs to do, but they need to realize there is a 10th Amendment to the Constitution that says all the powers not specifically granted to the Constitution or to the federal government of the Constitution is reserved for the states. They're reserved for the states. We need to start reclaiming the rights we have as Americans. We seem to have lost a sense that we control this government, that we are the government. That government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the face of the earth. That's why we fought the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln said. But you know what? We're letting it slip out of our hands. And it's not even by a war. We're not even fighting a war. We're just letting it slip away from us. Because we don't stand up. And we don't realize we have the power in the vote. We don't realize that those who are conservative, those who carry the American dream in their heart still stand as the majority in this country. And we still have the power, but we've got to unite. We've got to unite behind the common goals and ideals of what made this country great. It's not about conservatism or liberalism. It's about what made this country great. The entrepreneurial spirit, the pull yourself up by the bootstraps kind of idealism that didn't shun the need of those who were poor. But yet at the same time, we didn't make people poor by giving them this terribly regressive welfare system that says, we never really want you to get off welfare. This country is not set up to get people off welfare. It's set up to keep people enslaved to welfare. We've got to reclaim the ideal that made this country great. That we get out, we work for a living. We make ourselves as a country strong. We're a country of faith. Faith has become kind of a dirty word now. The politicians have so shunned God. They've so shunned any concept of faith. Now, I'm not talking about a theocracy, but I am talking about an underlying baseline of truth, of morality, of values and virtues. We don't have that anymore. I get crazy when I hear young people stand around and go, oh, yeah, I'm having a baby, and I got on Medicaid, and I got food stamps. Like it's an okay thing. There is no more sense of shame anymore. There's no more sense of embarrassment that we have to live off public assistance. Now it's just a way of life that ought not be. So Conservative Apologetics is going to be a web page here on YouTube that talks about the issues at hand and tries to give a balanced, even-handed approach from a conservative perspective of what it means. I am not a politician, so I don't have to play the political games the Republicans and the conservatives in Washington have to play. I hope to be able to give you a practical, straightforward approach to what it means to be a conservative, to be American, and to be a capitalist, an entrepreneur, what it means to live the American dream. So welcome to Conservative Apologetics. Look around, listen to some of my talks. Some people may call them rants. I call them trying to reclaim the American dream. But thanks for stopping by. Leave me a comment. You take care. Have a great day. God bless you.